So the very first article I ever wrote for Cali Sports News was entitled Ducks versus Hawks, the Kings fans' dilemma. I wrote it at the end of last season when it was the Ducks and the Hawks battling it out for the Western Conference Championship. And I basically wrote much more nicely than I was feeling at the time why I wanted the Ducks to win. By no means am I saying I wanted the Ducks to win the Stanley Cup. Good God, no. I was voting for whoever won in the East. I really didn't care as long as it wasn't the Blackhawks. Of course, my hopes were dashed. I keep telling you, I never actually cheer for the Ducks, and when I do, they don't even win. Like, really? Anyway, tonight we're playing the Blackhawks, and I hate them more than any other team in the league, pretty much. In fact, if the Blackhawks and, like, the Red Wings all got together in a stadium with all of their fans and it, like, got swallowed up into a pit, I would be surprisingly okay with that. So when we came to play the Blackhawks tonight, I knew it was going to be a very tense game for me. There was going to be a lot of yelling and gnashing of teeth and probably wailing. I was hoping not, but it was gonna happen. So Patrick Kane, a little bit the bane of my existence as far as Blackhawks things go. He is on an 18-game point streak, and he extended it to 19 this game because while we were on a penalty kill early in the first period, Kopitar decides to kind of be fancy and like do this little backhand pass to Dustin Brown instead of clearing the puck. And while I applaud the sentiment, Dustin Brown happened to be skating right by Patrick Kane. So, of course, Patrick Kane strips him of the puck and slaps it past Quick, because Quick's a little off guard, thinking, oh, maybe we're clearing the puck. No. So, truthfully, the way the rest of the period went, the Kings were actually lucky to only make it out of the period down by 1. They started out really strong on defense. It really looked like we were going to be able to shut the Blackhawks down for a little bit. And then the power play came for the Hawks, and it just kind of switched the whole momentum. With 11 seconds to go, the Blackhawks take a penalty. Split penalties are my favorite when we're on the penalty kill. They're my least favorite when we're on the power play because any momentum you might have gotten from that opening faceoff being right by your net is basically null and void because when the second period starts, you're going to be back at center ice with 1 minute and 49 seconds of the power play. So it's basically kind of a waste of a little bit, but still. The Kings go into the second period on a power play, and we're thinking good things can happen, right? No. Of course not. I mean, why would anything good happen when the Kings were playing the Blackhawks? We outshoot the heck out of them, but just can't manage to seem to get the puck in the back of the net. It was all Kings for like the first half of the second period. And then suddenly, the Hawks get their first shot on goal, I think it was like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 minutes into the second period. And it's an amazing Jonathan Quick save. He does that splits thing where I don't know how he gets that flexible. I've never known anyone to be able to do the splits quite like Quick, and it's beautiful to watch. And then Shaw gets a breakaway, and it looks like that's going in, but nope, Jonathan Quick saves that one. But then there's the one that maybe he needs to have, and he doesn't because it puts the Hawks up 2-0 about halfway through the second period. And the Kings never recovered. They had 1 shot on goal in the entire half of the second period. They just could not get their footing back. The puck was in the Kings zone 95% of the time for the second period. And then the third period happens and Jeff Carter scores! Don't know what Sutter did to get them motivated in between the second period intermission, or maybe they just hate losing to the Hawks as much as I do, because the Kings came out.
Jeff Carter with his own rebound gets his 10th of the year and points in 3 straight games, and the Kings are back in the game, trailing 2-1.
Well, on this one, the Hawks were not playing D with their feet. They were running around. The Kings really get the puck down low here by Lucic. Now, it ends up being a bounce, but you see 2 Kings, 1 Hawk. Chalmerson on a bouncing puck didn't get there, and this play just kind of leaves the goaltender to dry. There's a rebound here, but actually, give Carter credit here because Darling kicks the rebound to the outside, not to the middle, to the outside, but it's a quick reach. And also the length of that reach by Jeff Carter. Kings right back in it.
But then we get to it. 6 minutes to go in the third period. I am praying for an overtime because Kings and Hawks 3-on-3 overtime. Is there anything more beautiful than that? But we just needed that one more goal. And we got it. Oh my god, I love this game so much. Yes, I know I was talking about how much I hated it at the beginning. But you never really know how things are gonna end, and it got so exciting.
Hey, Kopitar indeed. Kopitar in front to Gabrick. He scores! The Blackhawks mishandled the puck. Kopitar gave it to Gabrick, and the game is tied 2-2.
Seabrook has had a great game. And then he second guesses himself. That may have caused this turnover. And it's part of what's been happening here in the third. I mentioned it where, you know what, he just overskates it. And Kopitar, that's just presence of mind of Kopitar. Kopitar, after this turnover, you know, Ajay, he's looking for a quality opportunity. He realizes he can't get that because Van Riemsdyk came across and helped out. Gabrick, he doesn't shoot this right away. He waits for the goaltender to open up. Look, it slides right in there. So the turnover hurt.
So we get to this 3-on-3 overtime. There's a lot of ice out there. You got Kane and Taves and some other really... Keith. There we go. Duncan Keith out there for the Blackhawks. I mean, it's an all-star team, and it's going back and forth and back and forth, and I'm like biting my nails and gritting and suddenly I'm thrown back into the second overtime in 2014 Game 7, and I'm dying. It's not even, I mean, it's a regular season game, but 3-on-3 just makes it so exciting. Each team totally had a shot to win this. So we get to this 3-on-3 overtime. There's a lot of ice out there. You got Kane and Taves and some other really... Keith. There we go. Duncan Keith out there for the Blackhawks. I mean, it's an all-star team, and it's going back and forth and back and forth, and I'm like biting my nails and gritting and suddenly I'm thrown back into the second overtime in 2014 Game 7, and I'm dying. It's not even, I mean, it's a regular season game, but 3-on-3 just makes it so exciting. Each team totally had a shot to win this. At one point, Quick does this like juggling thing that's super impressive. I swear to God, he's like a Jedi. I actually said that at a game once, and one of the kids who was sitting in front of me, can't have been more than like 6 or 7 years old, turns and he looks at me like super serious. Oh no, Quick is magic. Like totally believes Quick is magic. It's adorable. Anyway, Kopi, I love him. He and Gabrick, obviously you saw, got the game tying goal, and they have their chemistry back that they had last season. And it's beautiful. Kopitar has the greatest hockey sense of anyone I've seen. We talk about Drew Doughty because he does fancy hockey things all the time. And not to belay anything that Drew does. I love watching him. But Kopi, he's just so simple. He can see plays. He makes them happen. So he waits. He gets the puck to Gabrick, who is now... God, seriously, 3-on-3 is great because he's completely unguarded, and he skates up, he makes the shot, and Kings beat the Blackhawks! I screamed so loudly, I'm pretty sure that, well, I mean, the whole Staples Center screamed loudly. Who am I kidding? The Kings win against the Blackhawks. It's the most exciting thing ever. Happy Thanksgiving to me. And to all of you Kings fans out there.